All right, baby. How about those?
Chiefs!
All right. Hey, listen, great job. Better second half than first half.
Yep.
Right? You put it together, put it down. 47% of the time, teams are losing this game. Well, really, it's 53% of the time teams are losing this game. So you're playing against the odds. Did a nice job there.
Oh, yeah. Hey, great job. Be ready to go next week. Let's go Chiefs on 3. 1, 2, 3.
All business, and this is what they've mostly done during his time here. 35-10 when Patrick Mahomes throws a touchdown to Travis Kelce. Early on, looking for Kelce across the middle. It's off his hands. Bobby Wagner able to secure the interception. That's his 5th drop this season, tied for the 2nd most in the NFL. Bounces back, though, pretty quickly. Next Chiefs possession. Mahomes from a clean pocket has all day to throw. He's going to find somebody wide open, and that guy is Kelce. On the receiving end, he had 6 grabs for 99 yards. That led to a Kareem Hunt touchdown at 7-0. Tied at 7, I should say, in the 3rd. First drive out of the locker room. It's off schedule, and look at Kelce all by himself. Ryan Clark showed you how this play came together. He was a blocker, just floats out into space. That leads to another Hunt touchdown. So it's 14-7, and this is a bit of history as it's ad-libbed. Those two have amazing chemistry with one another. The 83rd career touchdown from Kelce ties Priest Holmes for the most in the history of the Chiefs. Here's Mahomes after the victory on that dude right there.
I said it at the end on the broadcast. I mean, he's just like the true Chiefs chief. I mean, he is the guy that's been here through the whole thing, been here with Coach Reid the entire time, and he helped set the culture. You know, he helped set the culture of what it means and to play for Coach Reid and to play in Kansas City. And I was able to come in and have that guy to rely on. And so he's breaking all the records now. And he's all about the team. So I want to make sure he gets that. And hopefully we can get another football for him later in the season when he actually breaks the record.
In that moment when he has the deflection early, I mean, is that even something you talked to him about? You know him so well by now. I mean, how does that?
No, I mean that stuff happens. It's just like I threw an interception earlier in the game. You gotta move on from mistakes. And they were able to make plays in that first half, but luckily for us, our defense stepped up, and it's a full team. I mean, the defense steps up whenever we're struggling, and we're able to go out there and put up points in that second half, and that speaks to the grit that we have as a football team.
Right about responding, Patrick. How were you guys able to score 21 extra points there coming out of halftime?
Yeah, when we got in the locker room, we talked about executing. You know, like sometimes you want to press and make stuff happen, especially on a big game like Monday Night Football, and we weren't doing that. They had more energy than we did, their defense versus our offense, and so we had to match their energy and execute at a higher level, and we were able to do that in that second half and start off that first drive, and then we kind of continue that momentum through the rest of the second half.
You mentioned the defense keeping you in on your early struggles. That's kind of been a theme. Both sides really playing well, I guess. What does it mean to have such a complete effort, for several games in a row?
Yeah, I think it shows the growth that we've had as a team. You know, offense, defense, and special teams. I think we're getting better and better each and every week. And even though we didn't start the way we wanted to today offensively, it showed that we can battle through adversity and still continue to play the brand of football that we want to play. And we'll have to continue to get better and better. This will be a great challenge this next week, and we'll have to start faster. But I was proud of how the guys responded in that second half.
This is Mahomes' 120th game, and he's got every record at that stage of a career. It's the 46th time that he's thrown 3 touchdowns or more in a game, which ties Dan Marino for the most in a player's first 9 seasons in the history of the NFL. And when you're on a list with Peyton Manning and Dan Marino, well, you're on a pretty good list. It's Mahomes and everyone else, statistically at least, during this amazing 120 game run. Must feel like 120 years if you're trying to compete with him, particularly in the AFC West. When SportsCenter continues from Arrowhead, there's a whole lot going on. You got everything in the world of sports, on ice, on the floor, on the diamond, and on the
Mahomes out to his right, back across for the touchdown to Hunt. 7-point lead for Kansas City. Mahomes end zone, caught by Kelce, touchdown. Chiefs now having fun, leading by 14.
Kansas City continuing to hit their stride.
They are rolling, they are smiling, they are having fun. They are still the Kansas City Chiefs.
So week 8 wraps Chiefs in the National Football League with a home victory for Kansas City. That means week 9 now is squarely in the windshield, and coming up Thursday night, Lamar Jackson expected to return as they take on a Miami team. Give credit to them, man. They went down to Atlanta and gave it to the Falcons. Baltimore's 2-5, but still very, very live in the AFC North. No real favorite there, even though the Steelers obviously are 4-3. Carson Wentz is going to have season-ending surgery to repair a dislocated left shoulder that he's been playing through for 3 weeks. Give the guy the nod for battling through it. I mean, that's what leaders got to do sometimes. J.J. McCarthy hasn't played since week 2. Expected to be back against the Lions. And this is significant news. Get a Defensive Player of the Year. Pat Surtain expected to miss multiple weeks with a left pec strain. Could be a candidate for injured reserve, according to Adam Schefter. Denver's won 5 straight. They sit atop the AFC West at 6-2. Among the games keeping an eye on for week 9, got the Colts. This is stunning. They are favorites at Pittsburgh. That lets you know the way Vegas views that 7-1 team. You got the Chiefs, a small favorite against Buffalo. That's interesting as well. And then we'll be in Dallas a week from now. Irving, to be correct, for Monday night as the Cowboys look to bounce back from the loss against Denver as they welcome Arizona, who's been snake bit this year. They played in so many close games and just haven't been able to close. As we start to look ahead to week 9, I'm really interested because we didn't discuss it in length on Countdown about this Colts team and how you view them. As I said, they've got the best record. They got the best point differential. They got a guy in Jonathan Taylor who's got more touchdowns than 5 teams across the league. What do you believe they are, Ryan?
Can I say this, though?
Please, say whatever you like.
What about the throwaways, right?
Right?
Daniel Jones thrown away from the New York Giants, playing like a top 10, top 5 quarterback in the entire NFL. And then Lou Anarumo, the defensive coordinator, also thrown away and basically blamed for the Cincinnati Bengals' woes defensively. I love this team. I think Jonathan Taylor is not only an Offensive Player of the Year candidate, but an MVP candidate. And the things that Shane Steichen and Daniel Jones have been able to do in the play-action pass behind that physical offensive line have been absolutely amazing. Now, when you look at some of the teams they've beaten, we haven't seen that win from the Colts where you go, oh my God, this team is leaps and bounds better than the other. But you can only beat the people that you put in front of you. This is the team that went to Los Angeles and beat the Chargers and won the game. This is the team that last week against the Tennessee Titans absolutely boat raced them. And so I love what we're seeing week in and week out. I believe a statement can be made in Pittsburgh.
I agree. Listen, they're going to have plenty of chances both at Pittsburgh, at Kansas City, right here, at Seattle. Their schedule is much more difficult. But what the best teams in the NFL do is beat the brakes off bad teams. And not every good team does that all the time. The Colts have played from ahead more than anybody else. I'm all in. I believe that that's what they are. And Vegas does too. They made them a favorite in Pittsburgh. That's insane when the season would have started.
Scott, and I love the fact that you framed the way Vegas sees the Indianapolis Colts going to Pittsburgh, because at the beginning of the season, none of us could have predicted that. But you know what that shows? Consistency. It's not this team playing up one week and then down the next. It's this team showing up in each and every opportunity, being their best selves. And this goes back to Shane Steichen saying in the offseason, we're going to give Daniel Jones enough money that he knows he's coming in and competing to be a starter. And when he won that job, they named him the starter and say, listen, he's not a starter for the foreseeable future. This is our guy for the season, so that entire locker room could rally around him.
And I want to be clear here. I don't love framing everything through that lens of Vegas because it's not the most important thing, but they're in the business of not giving away money for free.
The casinos wasn't built for losing.
Correct. And they're looking at this saying, man, like, when Indy's just going to beat people into the dirt, then we can't afford to be making them anything other than a favorite, even at Pittsburgh, which is stunning. We've talked about this Kansas City-Buffalo game. I think we understand what it represents. It's entertaining as heck, but with the Buffalo angle coming off of a Monday night game where they didn't look great against Atlanta, I'm not calling Carolina a get-right game. They'd won a bunch of games in a row. But the way they remembered Cook, I wonder how much he'll be a part of the plan in this game against Kansas City.
I love the fact that you mentioned remembering Cook even during Countdown. Because when Josh Allen became MVP Josh Allen, that protected the football, that was able to make superhero plays only when needed, it was when Joe Brady made sure that the run game was an emphasis and a priority of this offense. A huge part of that is James Cook, who got an extension during training camp. He was absolutely phenomenal against the Carolina Panthers. And what we've learned about this Kansas City Chiefs offense and this iteration of it, you do a lot better job when they're on the sideline than you do when they're on the field. And James Cook can be a huge piece in allowing that to happen.
Yeah, it was really baffling just looking back at that. Everything about Atlanta is baffling, right? You get shut out by Carolina, you beat Buffalo, and then Miami comes into your joint, the same place that Buffalo couldn't beat you, and Miami gives it to you. That's odd. But that second, really the fourth quarter of that Atlanta game where Cook was just on the sideline, I'm thinking, I didn't get it, but man had 153 at the half and goes for 216, I believe it was in total.
And you know what, too, Scott? Let's talk in the Miami piece, and I know this wasn't a question. Let's give some credit to Mike McDaniel and Tua Tagovailoa.
1,000,000%.
Right? The entire world was saying how
I was right there.
And I was right there with it.
Okay.
There's no leadership. This team is done. How does Tua rebound? Mike McDaniel doesn't look like he has a hold or a understanding in this locker room. And that team played football. There was effort. There was execution. There was physicality. There was attention to detail. That didn't look like the team we'd seen throughout this season. And you could see the level of confidence grow throughout that game.
The Jets and the Dolphins both went on the road. One erased a double-digit deficit to get its first win. The other won by double digits after a game against Cleveland where I criticized their effort, their interest, everything. So salute to both those teams for getting victories. Dallas comes off a loss. They're home on Monday night against an Arizona team that's been close but not close. Dak yesterday against Denver.
Yeah.
I mean, they got some dudes. Even without Surtain, they were able to do some things to Dak that we haven't seen most defenses do, which is largely bottle them up. What happened?
You know what's weird about that game, right? We've seen Dak look like that 2 times this year. One was the Chicago Bears, but he also threw 2 interceptions, and it was this game. We know that the defense isn't very good, but it's when they allow the score to get to a point where this team becomes totally one-dimensional. I think we often forget what Javonte Williams has added from a run game perspective, but we've seen Dak Prescott in 2 games this season solely rely on passing the ball, and we've watched him force footballs into bad situations. I want to see how this team rebounds against Arizona at home, because up until that point, obviously Dak Prescott was playing at an MVP level.
No doubt.
I don't believe one game changes his confidence, but you do need to see it. And I don't believe Arizona is a get-right game, but it's a game you have to win, because I was in a position of trying to figure out this week, could we consider Dallas a contender if they got some players on the defensive side of the ball? And Jerry Jones plainly said it after the game. We aren't just one player away.
No, but you've got the capital to try to make moves, right? And it'll be curious to see November 4th, I believe, the trade deadline.
Hey, Scott, ain't no way they watch the Green Bay Packers play on defense and not recognize what number 1 has added to that team.
The attention of that guy changes the whole other side of the ball, but they believe the players they got and then will maybe pay dividends. We shall see. We will be in Dallas, which means that Troy and his best friend Marcus will be driving the game potentially together. All right, more SportsCenter on the way on a huge day in sports with an eye, at least partially right here. In the second half, Chiefs 21-0.